Hey everyone, this is Will from EmpoweredTraders.com. Today, guys, I'll be doing a regular midweek recap on the cryptocurrency market. So let's jump ahead and take a look. So, of course, what an exciting week so far for Bitcoin. We've held the major support level, right, guys? If you guys go on the 8-hour, you guys can see here multiple touches here. We've held this level here at 40,700, roughly around that area here. And of course, since then, well, pretty much literally when September ended, we are now up 37% in pretty much just a week. So that's incredibly impressive, I would say, and that's really exciting. This is indicating that there's a lot of momentum, and people are saying that perhaps what happened in 2020 could happen again, potentially, right? If you look here in 2020, we were trading sideways for pretty much 2 months. September and October here, we were trading sideways a while. And then, of course, we started October, we started gaining a little bit more momentum. And by the time we got into the end of October, and then this kind of rally just really started. So, pretty exciting, guys. Let's see if momentum continues. So far, we're up quite a bit. If you guys can see here, right, we came back up above the 43,000. We came also back up above 47,000. You can see here we're consolidated for a bit before another leg higher, breaking the 50,000 level, and now we're trading at 54,000. We went all the way up to 55,700, so pretty close to 56,000. So here are some levels to keep an eye on. So this level right here is definitely key at 50,000. That's our major support level. So let's see what happens. I think there's a possible chance we might come down and get retest the 50,000 level. That would just roughly be about a 10% pullback, nothing too crazy. But nonetheless, guys, like I've said in multiple videos in the past, as long as we're back above 43,000, right, then we're trading in this range, which is really exciting. Does that mean that we could hit the previous all-time high in the coming weeks? That's possible, right? It depends on the momentum, but I think what's most likely is going to happen is we'll see a pullback. Maybe we'll trade sideways for a while and then go back up. But who knows, guys? Like I said, there's a lot of momentum in just a week, right? It went up 36%, close to 37% in just a week. So momentum's really high right now. So I would not, definitely not bet against this market when there's this much momentum. Absolutely. So I would just stay tuned and just be patient. Let's see how price plays out in October. Let's see what happens. Maybe we'll get another retest at one of these levels at 50,000, 47,000, or we'll shoot higher. All right, so let's look at Ethereum. So Ethereum also, just like Bitcoin, right? We held this major support level here, this bottom end, and we were trading in this range for a while until we finally broke back up. And of course, we had a retest here. You can also say that's also a second retest there. And now we're back trading in this channel. And this is quite important because if you go back, price tend to trade this when we're bullish. You guys can see here, price tend to trade in this channel for a while. Of course, occasionally we get a nice breakout, or this crazy breakout here, but eventually, as long as we're bullish, we tend to trade in this channel, and that's a great sign. So let's see here, guys. As you guys can see here, we're clearly trading in this channel. So maybe we'll see price. Let me get rid of some of these highlights here. So we could come back up to test this top end of the channel in the coming weeks. I think that's entirely possible. Absolutely. Once we come up here, though, I think the question a more interesting question is, will we see another breakout just like we saw here in early September, or we'll get rejected and kind of continue to trade in this channel in the this month. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Actually, before we go look at Polkadot, I do want to show you guys the Ethereum ETH ratio. Still holding up pretty well, although recently we've been down since September 1st, and as you can see here, you know, with Bitcoin really doing really well and outperforming the market, you can see this kind of sell-off of Ethereum against BTC. But nevertheless, let's see here, you can kind of say we're holding this support level. But let's see, if we do break this, then I think it's very possible we'll come back down here. Again, it really depends what Bitcoin does, right? And I'll go more in depth in what I think it's going to happen. But this is, you know, a scenario to consider if we break this and if Bitcoin continues its momentum and continues to outperform the market. All right, so let's look at DOT. DOT doing really well today. So as I mentioned, you know, in previous videos, we've held this major support level, right? So I think DOT looks attractive. We kind of had maybe a bit of retest there, and we're kind of back up. But just like BTC, just like Bitcoin, we're now trading back in this range, right? Which is great because although this range is huge, the potential is that we'll come back up and test this, you know, this previous all-time high here at 50 bucks. So let's see here, guys. But of course, you know, you have to be patient. One of the reasons for that is when the market, when Bitcoin is hot, really hot, when Bitcoin has a lot of momentum, bullish momentum, usually altcoins don't do that well. Some do, but most just pretty much lag behind. And eventually they'll catch up, but usually it's Bitcoin that shines first before, you know, all the other altcoins. All right, let's look at ADA. ADA also have a pretty decent day today. Last week I showed you guys that we're kind of waiting for a breakout like that, and we're looking for something like, you know, a breakout like that. But I don't know if we call this a breakout yet. I think it's a little bit too early. Maybe we'll get rejected, come back down, test major support level again. But on the other hand, you know, yes, maybe this is a breakout. Maybe we'll see price continue its momentum and continue to move to the upside. I think that's also in, you know, entirely in the playing cards. Let's see what happens in the coming days. Pretty much this month. If we continue the momentum to the upside, let's see what happens. All right, Chainlink still, absolutely still underperforming the market. It hasn't moved much, you know, since the sell-off. It's only up about, yes, it's up about 30%, but you know, it's still back below this resistance level here and still underperforming a lot of other top cryptocurrencies here. Yes, we're consolidating right now, as you guys can see here. So let's see, I think we'll have a decisive move whether to the upside or downside pretty soon. Usually price don't trade in this, you know, really tight range for a while. We do, but eventually, you know, a decisive move or breakout, whether it's a catalyst, you know, that's just how the market operates. You trade in a tight range, you trade in a range, and eventually, assuming that there are more data coming in, you know, people trading, there's some sort of catalyst, and eventually it breaks that range, right? Because the market goes in these cycles of volatility, and then kind of calm and quietness, and volatility, and then calm and quietness. You know, it's just how the market operates. So let's see here. I'm super excited to see really what's going to happen. I myself have been accumulating quite a bit of Link these past few months, and the main reason for that is because it's, and I've showed you guys this, is because it's really been underperforming against all the other top cryptocurrencies here. You see here, look at this, Link against Ethereum, it's down 83%, and as if you look closely, let me get rid of all this drawing here. It looks like we might have a breakout, so it might even bleed even further. Look at this. We could even come down even further. If you look at Link against Bitcoin, it looks even worse. Oof, let me get rid of all this stuff here. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, so let me log this out. Actually, yeah, Link BTC is currently testing support right now, but it also could bleed further also. So definitely keep an eye on Link, especially against Bitcoin, as you know, considering how hot Bitcoin is right now. Anyway, so let me show you guys what I think is going to happen in the coming months. Let me show you guys what I mean. So right now the market's really hot. I do think Bitcoin has a really good chance that it'll hit $100,000 by the end of this year or probably early next year. So what's going to happen? So usually, and this has been the case in the last cycle also in 2017, is that when the market goes on full swing, the cryptocurrency market, what happens is that Bitcoin usually leads the way first, right? Usually it's Bitcoin. Usually for a month or two, it just pretty much shines, and all the altcoins, some of them also do really well and outperform Bitcoin, but the rest of the market pretty much stays quite quiet. Bitwise 20 is like the top 20 cryptocurrencies. You guys can go to bitwiseinvestment.com. You can look what's, this is what constitutes Bitwise 20. You also have Bitwise 70, which is basically the top 70 cryptocurrencies. But anyways, so you guys can see here Bitcoin outperforming for since November all the way to pretty much the end of January. Bitcoin outperforms, and pretty much entering to February, and then we start seeing altcoins just absolutely killing it. And if you look at Bitwise 70, that's also the case too, right? You can see a clear correlation between Bitwise 20 and Bitwise 70, much more so than the correlation between Bitcoin. So clearly that the altcoins market is much more correlated to each other than it is to Bitcoin, right? But here's something I want to point out, which I think it's more important than understanding when altcoins do well, when Bitcoin does well. I think what's more important than that is if you look at Bitwise 100, it's this green line here, and it's actually underperforms Bitwise 20 as well as Bitwise 70. Bitwise 70. And in finance, right, that doesn't make much sense. And the way I think about it, at least to my finance background, is that when you are buying something more speculative, something that has more risk, you expect a higher return. And Bitwise 100 is by far the most risky of all these indexes, right? Because Bitwise 100 constitutes, the top 100 cryptos. So that includes much more risky altcoins than, say, Bitwise 20. But in this case, what's interesting is that despite the notion that, you risk more and therefore you'll get more rewarded, that's not the case in the cryptocurrency market. You clearly see that, right? So for those people out there who's buying, some coin that's ranked 100, that's ranked 200, and be like, yes, this thing's going to go to the moon. Statistically, or at least from the index perspective, right? Because you might get lucky, right? It's like, there's 100 cryptos and maybe 10 of those are going to, do 50x, right? You might get lucky and select that one that's going to do 50x, right? That's there's also the probability component, but from an index perspective, right? From a money manager perspective, selecting these sketchier altcoins, at least statistically, does not actually make you more money. Yes, it outperformed Bitcoin, but you're risking first of all, you're already owning Bitcoin is already risky as it is. If you own the top 100 or say top 20 cryptos, you're even risking more, and you're actually not compensated that well. So what's the takeout here? The takeout is to stick to the top 20, and I'll even say top 70. But even then, top 70, I would be very careful of what you're buying in top 70. Definitely take a look at this Bitwise 70, quite interesting. There's some decent coins here. Aave I definitely do like a lot. GRT, Shiba also has done pretty well the past few days. But anyways, guys, so hope you guys enjoyed this video, and of course, just a quick recap. Bitcoin is super strong right now, so Don't expect and don't be afraid that some of your altcoins are not doing that well. That's normal, right? Bitcoin shines first and then altcoins follow. So definitely keep that in mind if we see Bitcoin continue to move higher. All right, thanks guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and of course subscribe for more content.